What's up, everybody? It's Dave, and I've got a new episode today, and we're diving into the fascinating story behind the Connor Bedard NHL debut ticket because I'm noticing some stuff. So let's talk about what I'm seeing. First of all, Connor Bedard, right? So we all know Connor Bedard. He was the number one draft choice. He plays for the Chicago Blackhawks, and his rookie year was in 2023. And when his NHL debut ticket first started coming out onto the scene, people were paying a huge amount of money for these tickets. And over the past few weeks, I have seen just an absolute explosion in listings of the Connor Bedard NHL debut ticket. And so I just want to do sort of a breakdown about what I'm seeing so that everybody could be aware, but also like just as sort of like a heads up. I guess you could call it a cautionary tale, right? If you're somebody who loves the hottest trend of buying the hottest player, then this will be a cautionary tale of warning for what happens when we all get swept up in the hype. Okay, so let's take a look at what I'm seeing. Essentially, what I started seeing was just like on eBay, ton of people that are listing these. So if you just go in and we type in, Connor Bedard, two N's. All right, so let's just go search. So it's really one seller here, this Big Boyd Sports Cards, and you can see that they just have a ton of them listed. PSA 9s, Gem Mint 10s. It's unbelievable. And just a ton of them. And so these are just the ones that are available right now. And you got people here who probably listed this a long ass time ago, not knowing that these things are selling for what they are now. So let's just look and see here, folks. So what you're seeing is that there's a ton of people here who have this, not a ton of people, but a ton of these tickets that are for sale all by this one seller. If we jump into TerraPeak, check out my previous videos on TerraPeak and why it's important. And I'm just searching for the Bedard NHL debut ticket. And I'm filtering it from the earliest because I want to see sort of like the change in pricing. And so you can see here, Bedard makes his debut. Let's look at this ticket on October 10th, 2023, right? And in the first day, somebody lists it online and gets $1,200. Somebody lists one on October 11th, the following day, they get $1,250, $1,200, and these are real prices, right? And then the prices sort of fluctuate and come down. But now let's look at the more recent ones. So now we're going to filter them by the most recent, so 2026, and this is January 31st. Today is February 4th of 2026, so these are all very recent in the past week. This is a PSA 9 for $127. A Gem Mint 10 for $228. And keep in mind, these people, that $127, this guy had to pay at least $40 to have it graded, plus shipping both ways. And he had to lose 13% of his cash to eBay, at least 13%. So, man, these are kind of crazy. But look at this, a PSA 9 for $46 doesn't even cover the cost of grading. So the prices of these are coming down, and if you look at the population report, it's really clear why this is happening. So if we go to the PSA population report and you go to 2023 ticket sets and you find your way to the Penguins, you can see, even without even dipping in to see which tickets have been graded the most, you can already see there's an anomaly here. There's 296 different tickets that have been graded. 108 are PSA 10s. So let's dive in. And I bet it's all Connor Bedard. Yes, literally every single ticket that's been graded for this season of the Penguins is the Connor Bedard debut. So you can see all of these. There's even some autographed ones back here, including this PSA 10 that's been autoed. I'm sure that's pretty nice. So an explosion of the PSA Pop Report. So this explosion of the Pop Report has created an explosion of availability of graded items. And this is actually, this is a great time to land yourself a Connor Bedard debut ticket. But this is also a cautionary tale because so many people love having a ticket stub to the latest sensation and the next big thing. But these days in ticket stubs, like, we really don't know what the availability is going to be at ticket stubs. And so, now you find yourself spending $1,200 on something where, 2.5 years later, you can get the same thing for 1/6 of the price, fully graded, as a PSA 10. And so, I'm not really sure what happens, but I'm pretty sure, just a ticket stub or broker, a ticket broker from Pittsburgh Penguins, clearly cashed out on a bunch of tickets and these things printed. And I've even gone so far as to look at them and see, like, are these all valid for admission? right? Because sometimes if they're like reprints or something, PSA will put that they're not valid for admission. But no, you guys, like these are all valid for admission NHL debut tickets, not reprints. In fact, you can see it was printed here on 10/10/23. You can see that right there. 10/10/23. The day of the debut. That's actually kind of dope. So it looks like these were printed in mass. Let's go look at another one and see the date that this was printed. Same thing, 10/10/23. For those of you guys who don't know about dating, you can actually see it. I wish I could click here, but that spot right there where it says 10/10/23 is generally the date that the ticket itself was printed. So sometimes if you'll see that teams will have a big event occur, like a player's debut, and then they'll go and try and cash in by printing off a bunch of tickets afterwards and selling them off to the general public, and you can see that easily from that ticket print date. But all of these look completely good. So a complete collapse of the Connor Bedard NHL debut ticket market brought on by the fact that some person out there has hundreds of these things laying around in pristine, beautiful mint condition, and they've sent them all in for grading, and now they're just selling them off. There's Connor Bedard, 2.5 years into his NHL experience, has been great. I don't know if he's even been an all-star. He's been really good. He has not been a Gretzky or something like that where people are just clamoring to own his stuff. He's still a very great player, but his collectability is still, medium heat. That's like the way that's it. It's and so when you suddenly don't increase demand, but you increase a ton of supply, then you're going to see that the prices continue to go down. So, and we saw that a $40 one for a PSA 9. Damn, I actually wish I would have bought that because I'm a Blackhawks fan, so I would love to have that ticket. So anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Stay positive, love your life, enjoy collecting tickets, and we will catch you next time.